We begin with breaking news, and the former Syrian colonel Anwar Raslan has been found guilty by a German court for crimes against humanity and has been sentenced to life in prison. The trial is the first case concerning state-sponsored torture in Syria under the Assad regime. He supervised the murder of 58 people and tortured more than 4,000 others at the Al-Khatib prison in Damascus. He fled to Germany in 2014, and his trial started in 2020 with another lower-ranking defendant, Ayad al-Gharib. Gharib actively arrested and delivered anti-regime protesters to the prison. Let's go straight to our correspondent, Sibel Karkush, who is following the story for us out of Berlin. Sibel, what does this verdict mean for the victims or even similar trials to come?
Well, this is indeed a historic verdict. It's the first time ever anywhere in the world that a high-ranking Syrian official has been convicted for state-led torture by the Syrian regime. So this by itself is of high significance. But the verdict today also sends two important messages. For one, for the victims who were partly present during the trial, who said earlier even whatever the outcome, it shows that their sufferings were not in vain. But the verdict now also means that it is a late but a step towards justice in this case. But it also shows that no matter where in the world, criminals can and will be convicted and will be held account for their crimes. So this case has a much wider significance and dimension, as it's not just an individual case, but it shows that those accountable will be found, and it will definitely set a precedent for future trials to come.
So how did they find Raslan, and how did authorities detain him?
Well, as you mentioned there, Raslan has been held accountable for the torture of at least 4,000 people back in 2011 till 2012 at the Al-Khatib prison in Damascus. And he was overseeing this torture. But he himself actually defected in 2011 and later fled to Germany. And he never actually tried to cover up his past. He actually went to German police himself, as he was fearing a response by the Syrian regime, fearing that he would be found in Germany. So that's how German officials later detained him. And even earlier last year in February, another defendant was convicted for similar crimes, for aiding at this torture, and he was convicted to 4.5 years in prison.
Mm-hmm. All right, Sibel Karkush for us there in Berlin on Syrian Colonel Anwar Raslan's case. Thank you for that update, Sibel.